morning. My name is Liz Jamieson-Dunne, and I'm your practitioner of service at Hilltop Spiritual Center Sunday service. While we're virtual, we welcome all of you in your homes, no matter where you are, what part of the country, or even the world. And no matter what your path is to the divine, you are welcome here. This morning, for the theme for our July is the ability and the freedom to create. What a wonderful concept to be able to create whatever we desire in our lives, be that prosperity, health, peace, joy. And so today's service will be dedicated to that. I'd like to open with a welcoming prayer. Know that you are here with the divine, that we are connected not only with breath, but just the presence, knowing that God is within each one of us. And so today, you are so blessed and so welcome to be here in this service, to be uplifted with a meditation, with Reverend Guy words, to be here in unity with each other, no matter where we are. You are welcome, you are love, you are creativeness, and so it is. The reading for today is by Gilbert and Dunn. Do whatever brings you to life. Follow your own imagination, fascinations, creativity. Trust them. Create whatever causes a revolution in your heart. And so it is. Let's begin by relaxing your mind and your body. The more you are unaware of your body during this time, the easier it will be to let your mind go and just relax. Take a deep breath, hold it for a moment, and slowly let it out. Imagine all the tension leaving your body, almost like a fine gray mist as you breathe out. Take a second deep breath in, hold it and let it go. Allow your breath to be deep and slow. And now imagine a very large white ball of light moving towards you slowly. It comes closer and closer, getting larger and larger, until it is surrounding you completely, covering you completely, like walking into a cloud. It encourages you to let go of all your thoughts, all your emotions, and just totally, deeply relax. This white light symbolizes spirit, symbolizes that great energy of the universe. It surrounds you. It's also a shield. It protects you. It glows with the love of the divine, rich beings of light. As you accept this white light into yourself, into your mind, and into your heart, you are committing with the deep, rich source of all life, of all love. The white light symbolizes a divine source of love and creativity that knows no boundaries, protects all beings, and protects everyone in a wonderful, supportive way. It is the strongest force in the entire universe. It protects all who ask. Visualize that white, floaty cloud, that beautiful, radiant armor around yourself, around your home, around all, wherever you go, wherever you need to be. Take this white light with you on your journey day by day, knowing that Spirit protects you and is always with you and always motivates you to be that creative, beautiful being that you are. Now slowly, calmly, easily begin to return to your awareness and know that this great divine spirit is the great white light of love and protection. And so it is.
Welcome, and thank you for allowing us into your world, whether that be your computer or your television or your smartphone, whether you are on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for inviting us in, and welcome to our spiritual center here in the virtual world. So this month we're talking about the freedom to create. And we're following the theme of freedom because that just seems so pertinent these days. Obviously we celebrate our nation's founding fathers and mothers in the 4th of July, which is really about freedom. And on I guess it's Tuesday or Monday or wherever it is July 14th is Bastille Day. Our brothers and sisters in France celebrate their liberation as well. But we're talking specifically about not the freedom from something, not the freedom from tyranny, but afterwards, the freedom to do something and the freedom to create, the freedom to be creative, the freedom to expand and be more of who we have been created to be. And I was thinking about that beautiful song that led our celebration this morning from Peggy, Lebo. And there's that line in there to the essence of, as I surrender, I believe. Oh, as I surrender, I believe. I think that surrender has a bad rap. Because when we think of surrender, we think of capitulation, of giving up. But really, again, if we think about the our ancient Hebrew brothers and sisters in the early world, what surrender meant was to take refuge. And so what we're saying here is that in which I take refuge allows me to believe, to trust. So that which I take refuge in allows the space for me to trust. And in the environment of trust, we expand and we grow. So what is this thing we take refuge in? What is this thing that we surrender to? What is this thing that when we surrender to, we are free to believe? Well, I think it's the very thing that invites us to do that. The very thing that invites us to take refuge within itself is the very thing that we can trust and expand and be our original self. And so whatever we may call that, whatever you may call that, spirit, God, the divine, the great mother, the great father, it really doesn't matter. In Kabbalah, there's a term known as the Ein Sof. And the Ein Sof simply means that which is. That which is. And so whatever we call it is simply our perception of it. But in all wonderful stories of creation and in all the teachings of the great mystics, that which invites us in, that which invites us to take refuge in, then gives us the freedom to create, to be our original self. And something that we've been talking a lot about, I've been talking a lot about, are two things. One is this, is that the very essence of the divine itself is creativity. What God does is create. That's its very nature. It creates out of this unabashed, unrelenting, all-expansive love. So love itself is a creative force, and that's the very essence of divinity itself. And then the other theme is this, is that we are made in the image and likeness of that which creates us. So in a real sense, the image, the likeness of, if you want to know what God looks like, look around. Or better still, look in the mirror. But even more than what the divine looks like is the essence of the divine itself. And if the essence of the divine is creation from love, then the very essence of who we are creators. That we are invited to be part of the co-creation of this unfolding and unfinished universe that we live in. What an amazing story that is. What an amazing idea. As Pierre Teilhard says, we are evolution become conscious. But the thing is, we can only create in our original self. What early New Thought metaphysicians used to say is this, that God only works in truth. And so in order for us to co-create, in order for us to have the freedom to create, we must create. That freedom comes from living our original self. And that's the real invitation that we're called to right now, is to create from our original self. And let's face it, in these days, to live an original life really is to be a revolutionary. And Liz gave that beautiful reading this morning or today, and part of what it says is this: is that we can create whatever causes a revolution in our soul. I love that. What we create causes a revolution in our soul. So, one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite books, Moby Dick, Herman Melville says this. He says, "I love to sail in forbidden waters and land on barbarous shores." I just love that image, to sail in forbidden waters, to go those places that our culture says we shouldn't go. And we're all tempted to do that, aren't we? We all love that. In fact, the Talmud says this. It says, "Stolen waters are the most sweet." And the barbarous coasts, the barbarous lands are those lands without culture, without conformity, without this idea of remaining normal. So the real invitation to live originally, the real invitation to have the freedom to create, is to sail in those forbidden waters and to land on those barbarous coasts. Because, something that Stephen Pressfield says is he says, most of us live two lives: the life that we're living and the life within. It's the hidden life. And he says what stands between those two lives, the one that we're in today and the hidden one, the one that we want to live, he says what stands between those two lives is resistance. Resistance, that thing, that which holds us out. And we live in a culture that is by its very nature resistant. It's sort of the group thing of where things go. And it doesn't want to expand. It doesn't want to grow. It wants to keep the status quo. And time again, we see this in our own lives, right? Ralph Waldo Emerson says in his Self-Reliance essay, he says that the world, or our culture, is a joint stocked company that is there. It rewards us if we behave and punishes us if we don't. And so to live an original life is, as he says, to be a nonconformist. To create from freedom is truly a revolutionary act. And let's face it, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because there is this idea of resistance. Anne Hillman, in her book, Awakening the Energies of Love, says this. She says, "In a way, all creativity can be dangerous. No one prepares to enter the unknown without recognizing that reality. The relationship between creativity and danger, be it physical, psychological, or social, is a theme that runs throughout history, from the first Homo erectus who tamed fire to Socrates, Jesus, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King. All had to face dire consequences for threatening the deeply held beliefs of the group. A group tends to believe it knows, and that what it knows is right. Every community has long since made up its mind. It resists change because it is certain, and its certainty is based on its stories." So the stories that our group, our culture, our family, our tribe, ourselves say It's this idea of confirmation bias. Is the stories that we tell ourselves or the stories that we listen to on how things are, believe we're right. We form a belief and then we go on a hunt to find evidence. But imagine things are different. Imagine that despite all the fear, all the resistance, that we can courageously move forward from this and truly embrace our original self and truly expand and be part of this creative experience, this creative process. In the Science of Mind text on page 182, for those of you who are keeping score, Ernest Holmes says this: to that person who can throw themselves with complete abandon into that infinite sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all apparent moorings from the past, those ideas of being right, to that person comes the greatest reward. So that's my invitation today, is to cut loose from all the apparent moorings of our past and to throw ourselves into that infinite sea of receptivity, to surrender, to take refuge into that which invites us to trust our own intuition, our own knowingness, that which awakens a revolution in our heart, and that brings the greatest reward. And of course it's scary, but it's worth it. You know this, and I knew this. It's just like everything. And here's the plan. Here's the plan of how we can throw ourselves with complete abandon into that infinite sea of receptivity. And I'll offer you three things. The first is this, is memorize this mantra. I love to sail in forbidden waters and land on barbarous coasts. Say that with me now. I love to sail in forbidden waters and land on barbarous coasts. I love to be a nonconformist. I love to go to those places that my culture, my tribe, my family says, don't go, stay here. And I like to break the norms because that's where real change happens. That's what evolution is all about. And the second thing is this, is to visualize. Neville Goddard, who was one of the great New Thought, and probably one of the most underrated, but most influential ones to me personally, and actually to another person, Carlos Castaneda, gives a technology of how to do this. He says, early in the morning, right when we're rising, or maybe at night before we go to sleep, or to allow ourselves to go into something that he calls a hypnagogic state. And what that is that sort of dreamy place between waking and sleeping, where the conscious mind is not busily protecting the subjective mind, and the subjective mind is therefore more impressionable. And what he says is to create a visual picture, a spiritual prototype, a mental equivalent, perhaps to create a scene in which we are creating and living and doing the thing that we desire, and to allow ourselves to feel it and to experience it and let it become part of us. And then it moves into our subjective self. And I think the power of Neville Goddard is this, is that he's probably the closest thing from a metaphysician to a quantum physicist, because what he's actually saying is to create a possibility and then project it into the future and allow our subjective mind to build a bridge. And as we go about our daily business, we begin attracting to us, or we begin taking actions, or we begin moving toward the thing that we desire. and to practice it, and to practice it often, because in reality what we're doing is we're literally creating new neural pathways in our brain. We're really rearranging and teaching ourselves to think in a certain way and move towards a certain thing. And then finally, the third part of the plan. So first, we're going to mantra. I love to sail in forbidden waters. I love to land on barbarous shores. And I'm going to visualize the thing that I desire. And I'm going to practice that. And then the third thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to confront the resistance. Because it's there every day. Let's just face it. Resistance is just part of what life is. It's kind of a protective part of who we are. It allows the brain to conserve calories because the brain doesn't want to think too hard sometimes. And so there's always going to be resistance. And so we just recognize that it's there. And if we do those things, then we engage in our original self. And what I want to say is this, is the world is waiting for us to do that. The world is waiting for you and me to live our original life. Because when we do that, we are participating in the creative force. We are hardwired to be creative, and each of us has something to do. Again, as Emerson says, each and every one of us has a vocation and a calling. And it is our passion, our desire, our talent. If you want to know what you're called to do, what brings a revolution to your soul? What awakens in you? What fills you with love? What fills you with passion? That's what you've been called to do. And to have the courage to dream, and to dream big. So like I said at the beginning of this talk here, is I had two opportunities to dream big. And one of them gave me the opportunity to be a millionaire. And it was this, is years ago I worked for a publishing company, and the publishing company did astrology. And it was at the beginning of the internet. And there was a small startup internet company that invited us to provide astrological content. And the owner of the company would do nothing. He didn't think the internet was going to go anywhere. He didn't think it was worth our while. For 2 years, he sat on the contract and did nothing. And meanwhile, one of my friends was saying, he says, "Guy, you got this. You could do this. Why don't you do this?" And I was resistant. I was really, really resistant. So it turned out that small internet company was called AOL. And I know the person that got the contract, and I didn't. But the second opportunity I had to dream big was to take the pulpit here at the Hilltop Center. And for 15 years, every morning I wake up, I am thrilled and I am grateful. I am grateful for the opportunity to be part of something that is amazing and wondrous. And here today, in all that's going on, in all that's happening in the world today, you and I are invited to dream big, to not go back to normal, but to see what the future holds, and how you and I, by being our original self, are furthering evolution. So, again, I love to sail in foreign waters and land on barbarous shores. And I commit to visualizing every day that which causes a revolution in my soul. And yeah, there's resistance. Yeah, there's resistance. And I commit myself to move through it. And when you do, and when I do, the world expands. The kingdom of heaven is here on earth. So thank you for being part of this experience. I wish you many, many, many blessings. Thank you once again for being part of our Sunday celebration. I'd like to thank the artists who have so generously given of their time and their talent to create this thing. First, to Michael Reardon, who provides for us these incredibly beautiful photography of Southern California and the world. And check out his website. I'd also like to thank Peggy Lebo for her generous sharing of her beautiful, beautiful music. And in a few moments, you're going to hear Spirit Hill. Yeah, that's right, Spirit Hill. And I want to thank them for their continued support and being part of our community. But the real artist that I want to thank today is our executive producer, who also happens to be the executive director here at the Hilltop Center, and that's Michelle Dixon. She is the one that takes all this raw stuff and creates this incredibly beautiful video that you get to watch every Sunday. So thank you, Michelle. I also want to thank Liz Jamieson-Dunne and all the practitioners. But Liz, you gave a beautiful prayer this morning. The reading was inspiring and the meditation was truly transport. It was transcendent. So thank you. And please know that Liz and all the practitioners are available for prayer and for support. Their contact information is on our website. There's also opportunities for you to submit a prayer request or join our prayer circle, which happens on Wednesdays through Fridays and Sunday morning. And again, all that information, as well as videos, music videos, guided meditations, yoga classes, more and more information and more resources are being uploaded. So please, if you've not seen our website, please check it out. The other thing that I want to say is that this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m., we're having a virtual town hall meeting. And I hope all of you will attend, whether you're in the virtual world and you've never stepped foot in this building, or you are a regular wanting to know what's going on. We are committed to transparency. We're committed to open and honest communication. We want to hear from you. We want to share with you what's going on, what's happening, where things are. It's important for everyone to be there. So please join us. I'd love to have you there. And again, the drill, share, celebrate, and support us. And so again, thank all of you for your continual and generous support. I wish all of you, those whom you love and those you receive love from, all of you, the very best. Many, many, many blessings.
I'm not right, and you're not wrong. We both know what this love is truly built upon. We are shadows, tiny sparrows, safe inside clear blue sky of another storm, moving in and out of time, in and out of the circle of life. We are children of the angels. right there